Welcome to Infected Radio, the show that services, yes, all of your SC2 and sports needs. Um, we're your hosts, Packerpimp and Voodoo. Say hi, Voodoo.
What's up, guys?
For today's show, we're going to wrap up the huge MLG tournament that just took place in Raleigh, North Carolina, and spotlight on the Protoss race in StarCraft 2. So, answer some questions, and we'll talk about the race's attributes, negative and positive, and do all that fun stuff. And later, for all of you fantasy football players, or I guess just NFL fans in general, we'll do a quick breakdown of the teams in the NFC South and offer up some tips for those of you who may have not done their draft yet. I know I haven't even done mine yet, so I've been doing a lot of research and kind of getting into that. When are you going to start playing with us anyway?
Just probably no. I do the ESPN because I'm cheap. I do it
Wow,
for free.
because
I
it's
do it for
free?
free.
Wow.
Yeah, basically because it's free. I
You gotta
don't do
play for
much.
money, man. You gotta go big or go home.
No, it's all about bragging rights in the forums. What's up?
Whatever. So I guess we'll start today with our RTS backgrounds. I myself, the only RTS I have ever played is StarCraft. So Brood War and StarCraft 2. That's the extent of my knowledge. Um, Voodoo, on the other hand, has played some other stuff. So why don't you go ahead and tell him what you've done?
I've actually played a lot of the early. I started off with Warcraft 2. That was the big thing. Work, all those. That's the main thing right there. And I also started off with Command and Conquer. I did a little bit of that. Played at my friend's house. Really nothing else to do around here. And then I got recently got back into Brood War after playing a little bit. Used to play Big Game Hunters online just with friends, and then got into the whole Korean scene and started practicing one-on-ones, practicing with Packerpimp. And then just got into all the YouTube commentaries, all the videos, got really hyped up for StarCraft 2, and started on that
And it's been downhill for
wild
our
ride.
personal lives ever since, I would say.
Yeah, yeah,
You've actually placed in Diamond, which I am extremely jealous of.
that's
And
right.
yeah, I when I did my placement matches, I kind of Hydra raged and just kind of like would quit when I got six pulled because I was just disgusted.
Oh no,
So
yeah, yeah.
unfortunately, I think I'm actually placed in bronze. So we'll take you could take what I have to say.
Well, I
Um,
did originally place in gold, and I actually feel good about this. I made my way up all the way to diamond. I didn't get lucky with any cheese. I smoked the cheesers. They weren't, no Swiss cheese in this guy.
so
Come
you
on.
actually how many games did it take you? Do you remember? Because you did
It
it.
took
I think
me
it did like
about,
7 games, right?
well, it was about 7 games for platinum, and then I ended up winning a bunch. I lost 6 games in a row to Terran, which is, we'll get into that, because,
Everybody
my
loses to
gosh.
Theron.
Yeah, come on, really. And then I also But Protoss, I was winning. Zerg, it was half and half. Zerg can be rough on me. It depends, like if they do like a double hatch Zerg all in, I sometimes don't expect it, and I just get ramrodded. But um, it's Terran's really hard. Oh 06, they got me oh 06, and I finally beat one with DTs and some Blink Stalker micro, and the dude rage quit, and then like I exited the game and bam, Diamond League. So I was pumped for that.
That's good
So
stuff. Good stuff. And so, just so everybody knows, and I maybe they can discern from what you talked about, but you do play Protoss. That is your main race, correct?
full time Protoss,
All
full
right.
time.
All right. Well, I myself am full-time Zerg. Um, I actually, when we before the beta had come out and before we actually got invited into the beta, I was actually wanting to play Terran, and I did. We did a couple games, and I was just terrible, terrible with Terran. So I said screw it, and I switched. And the next race I played was Zerg, and I turned out to be um, not a great Zerg player, but the mechanics I enjoyed a lot better. I enjoyed the macro, I enjoyed the play style a lot better, and so that's kind of what I stuck with. And you've always were about Protoss, right? Even from the beginning.
Yeah, basically started out with Brood War. I tried Zerg, but it's just I'm not down with the whole larva. You know, I like getting units from buildings. Not like the whole egg hatching. The only thing I like about Zerg is the cracklings. Those are the most like awesome units that probably ever existed in the StarCraft series.
Cracklings
And
have won
you know, yeah,
many games
yes, won many games.
with Cracklings. Uh,
So I tried Protoss the next race, and I ended up just doing really good with them. Like, I just see Protoss as a creative race, and StarCraft 2, I I just went. I was like, all right, Brood War StarCraft, so I'm just gonna keep going StarCraft. I mean, Protoss. So
well, let's talk a little bit more about that the creative race concept for Protoss. A lot of people have said that. I know that's a big thing that you harp on a lot when we talk strategy and whatnot. So kind of talk about maybe why you think it is the most creative race and about what it is, what attributes does the Protoss have that kind of give you that feeling?
honestly, it's just with Terran and Zerg, you see a lot of people, they mass up one unit, MMM, or like, Marauders early game and just mass it and just go balls out on this, on the opponent. While Protoss, you need a mix of units and the right units in order to counter that person, and you have to be like creative in how you like confront the enemy. You can't do like a full in stim, run in there, destroy everything, and back out. You have to have like little, those secret traps built up with like sentries, and you use force fields. I also like hallucination. That's one of the most creative things you can do with Protoss. I love hallucination. I will hallucinate a probe and send it right past the dude's army, like I'm going to build another base for like an expansion.
Hmm.
The guy follows it, and I run right behind him with my army, and I get the flank. It's like the most creative hallucination I probably see is like the most creative Protoss thing out there, like that they've made.
Hmm.
And I'm sad people don't use it a lot because it's just it can manipulate like how a person thinks and like thinks what you're doing. Like if you see a Phoenix, I know as a Zerg player, Phoenix, you go, oh crap, I gotta get Hydras, or like I gotta get more Queens,
Right.
and that can like make them waste money where you can hit them early and punish them for it.
Yeah, exactly.
And
And you really like in the replays, we watch Husky's channel and HG's channel and Day Nine and a lot of these other guys who are pretty
big
big in the
shout outs to
scene.
them too.
Yeah, big shout outs, you guys. Big ups for everything
Yeah,
you guys are doing for the community. It's good stuff. But we see all their videos, and you very rarely see players taking advantage of it. I think maybe
it's yeah.
I think maybe it has to do something with it's a lot of extra added micro, but I guess at the same time, if you use it correctly, it can really pay off for you. And I maybe even the higher level games, you know, those guys are pros, man. They're not really gonna fall for a couple fake
Yeah.
colossus that kind of look a different color. So I guess it really is meant for if you're a silver league, gold league, maybe even platinum, something like that, you could abuse that mechanic and maybe make some people think you're doing something that you're absolutely not at all. And a lot of
Definitely.
people on forums and stuff, you see Team Liquid and all that. A lot of people are always trying to figure out how they can trick their opponent or how they can gain advantage. And I agree, hallucination's a really great tactic to use. Absolutely.
It's yeah, like tricking your opponent is probably one of the biggest things about RTS. You can't like proxying, like a building. Like I've heard of players who will proxy their gateways like around the map, like so the player won't be like, oh, maybe he's not going to forgate, and then bam, all of a sudden there's like a bunch of stalkers and zealots in your base, and you're like, how that happened? Being
Mhm.
sneaky is like the best thing if you're a sneaky person, like Stark, you're gonna do well in StarCraft, and like at a certain point, maybe it'll stop like platinum ish, because like sneaky DTs I love. You just put them in there, and the guy's like, where'd that come from? Especially if they don't scout the building,
Mhm.
no way they're gonna be ready for it.
Yeah, and a lot of people, especially in the lower leagues, don't really get detection a whole lot. So that's something you can absolutely abuse
Oh yeah,
in the lower leagues to kind of get you up into diamond or platinum where you want to be. Um, so you kind of mentioned already the 4-gate build. Um, do you want to talk about that, like the effectiveness of it, or um, because I know there's two different kinds. You have the kind of the all-in Korean style, and then just the regular 4-gate that kind of keeps you in the game, but also allows you to do some good pressure.
oh yeah. Forgate is probably the bread and butter of the Protoss. Like you have to know the Forgate if you want to get past silver, bronze, at least make it to gold.
Mhm.
4 gate will get you probably gold. Like if you in straight up games where there isn't cheese, if you go 4 gate, 4 gate's not cheese by the way. I hate when people say 4 gate's cheese because it's not.
Yeah, I've
Four
heard that a
gate,
lot too.
yeah, all in is cheese, like a freaking 6 gate. That's no, that's cheese. That's an all in. That's game.
Right.
Anyway, 4 gate is a standard play. Players like Huck, we just saw Kiwi Kaki and the MLG bust that out. The first game against Huck, that was oh my god. I was on edge watching that. The Immortal. Anyway, you probably saw it. Hopefully you guys watched MLG. That was some good stuff.
And I'm sure
Great.
some of the guys we mentioned earlier will have some of these games up on their
Oh yeah.
replays pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm sure Husky and HD will handle that, and Day 9 especially. Anyway, the 4 gate is basically, you get a gate and a cyber core out, and like as soon as the cyber core is in, you like chrono boost. What I like to do is I chrono boost the gate, like the warp gate technology, two times, and once the second chrono boost happens, I build 3 more gateways, and then I go out with a probe and put a pylon. This is the most important thing about the 4 gate. You want to put a pylon next to the person's base. That way you can reinforce your army like, you know, before they can even like reinforce theirs. So you basically the whole main goal is to overwhelm your enemy, and even if you don't, you'll break even, and then it just becomes like a mid game type deal. You can transition to like if you're going Terran, if you're facing Terran and he's going like a MMM, you can transition to like High Templars, get some Psionic Storms on them and all that good stuff.
Storms.
Good old Husky with the storms. Um, but yeah, 4 gate and the Korean 4 gate, that's an all in. I will admit, Korean 4 gate is all in. You don't make any units at the beginning, so you're so vulnerable to a 2 gate Zealot push. I've had that happen to me, which that sucks because you're like, oh, this guy's done. I got him. He hasn't even scouted my probe in his base. Oh, I got Zealots on my base. That's game because you can't really do anything to defend against it.
So
And
explain. So the difference is in the Korean 4 gate all in is that you're actually putting the pylon inside their base, correct? Like the regular 4 gate is just kind of halfway down the map or maybe outside the natural, but the Korean 4 gate is somewhere hidden in the base, right? That way you can warp stuff in.
yes, like with the Korean 4 gate, you only have 1 gas, and you only try and get like 64 gas so you can like research warp gate technology. You take those probes off gas, or you can leave them on if you want to go heavy stalkers. But it's not never really not necessary to do that. But you can just take them off, and then you just have like so many minerals that when you have the probe in their base, you can build like 4 pylons, and a pylon will go up before they can kill all of them. So you're like the whole goal is to get the person to focus on those pylons, and they won't be able to kill them all. And so once one goes up, get those 4 zealots in and run them right to the guy's mineral line, kill his economy while yours is still going, and you just overwhelm him. But like I said, with the 2 gate like threat out there, it's
Hmm.
it's hard. You have to scout your opponent well, and if you don't scout and he goes 2 gate, it's game over. You can't stop it.
Are there some players that where did you see the Korean all in? Where did you kind of get in with that strat? Is there some videos or something or some
It was
particular
actually
players that some of these guys our listeners can go look at?
it was actually my man. I mean, he doesn't know me, but I watched that guy Tozar, man, that guy on Team Liquid livestream. I watched him, and he had this unique thing called a ninja build that he did. And I saw it on the forums, and I saw his live stream, and I was like, I gotta find out what this ninja build is because it was against Terran, and Terran is probably my weakest matchup. And I don't like to call Terran overpowered because all nerf marauders and all that stuff. If you nerf